note, we will have a very important speech by the former NUX president, a two-time former national youth organizer of the NDC, a former communication minister, a former trade and industry minister, a former labor and employment minister, a former minority leader of Ghana's parliament, and the sitting MP for Tamale South constituency. Ladies and gentlemen, with one accord, put your hands together as we welcome Honorable Lawyer Haruna Iddrisu of Tamale South constituency. Honorable, you are welcome.
Hello. Our very respected royal Sanana chairman for this auspicious 50 years anniversary of the NTC. Our very able regional minister. You know, when he was speaking, I almost reminded him that he sounded big. To remind him of his relationship with the NTC and this hospital and the people of Ghana. The Chief Director, Haj Hafiz, Ministry of Health, former heads, the Director of Health Services Northern Region. I'm sure the others have and those present. And to thank Principal Abdullah Malik, you know, only him can do this. If you knew the background of Nasa Narana as a royal of Sabulugo, regional minister, royal of Sunsong, Haruna Iddrisu, royal of Warbao, he has brought three important, but in their own hierarchical importance together this afternoon to celebrate you at 50. How proud we are, and proud we would be, and proud we should be in celebrating you 50 years of dedicated, loyal, committed service in protecting human lives, promoting the quality of human health and saving lives. This has been your journey of 50 years. I'm minded to quote Angie Stenner, who said that nursing is a career full of heartfelt paradoxes, holding life and death together. It is messy and real, vulnerable and brave. Only you have done that in the last 50 years. Recognizing the mercy of the sick and patient and knowing that death is real and will come when it will come. And today, as we celebrate you, nursing have gone beyond taking temperatures and dressing. Those days, that is what we're all familiar with. Yours as nurses was to take some temperature and then go ahead to do some dressing, and you were a proud nurse. So today, as we observe your 50 years, we will be discussing your journey then and now. Then and now. And one of your proud successes, particularly in the northern region and to Ghana as a whole, it is that it is only in this part of our country that as nurses you stood true to fill in a real and necessary vacuum. Absence of trained doctors was the bane of the north, the bane of Tamale, the bane of Northern region. Our nurses never disappointed us in standing in for those shortages of nurses, particularly in rural Ghana. You did. That is why we celebrate you, and we celebrate you at 50 years. What is better today for nursing is that there is professional practice, even the way you relate to doctors. There is now nursing, higher education for nurses. We had Principal Malik announce that you now can do some degree nursing. You now have information flow technology, and you have new nursing roads. And even more importantly, I see at the back of regional principal a lot of men as nurses. Traditionally, this was a woman's role. So thanks to you, we have a bevy of men who have joined the workforce of nurses throughout Ghana and globally to celebrate you. But today, as we mark your 50 years, I listened to principal and I listened to regional minister. Your challenge as young people who are still acquiring formal education in nurses to promote human life and to protect human life will be the challenge of digitalization and virtualization. Where do you fit in a world driven by artificial intelligence into 20-25 years that will take over a lot of roles? But at least thankfully, Regional Minister and now Chairman, we have moved away from old-fashioned nursing to true health care. There has been an unrelenting pace of change, and our nurses have changed. I'm reminded that as far back it's important to discuss nursing today, assuming what was your role in pre-colonial Ghana, colonial Ghana, post-independent Ghana. But Regional Minister, once you are here, and I know now Chairman is effectively a neutral chairman, I'm minded to say that the NTC, there is a good land bordering here. From here, this road separates Tamale Central from Tamale South. The Bukwa is in the south. That's why the mortuary can be attributed to Tamale South. And then you can have the good health infrastructure for the Honorable Mutala, my colleague, who now are uploading for Tamale Central. So Regional Minister Nasa Nana, that land, as part of the future of protecting this institution and the expansion of this institution, let us all collectively resolve to protect it and dedicate it for the development of healthcare in our country. The idea, ideally, is for nurses and doctors to live closer to where they were, so that in future, I won't say my future government and Minister Sani will be jealous. A future government can develop some health hostel facilities, not just for this school, but even accommodation for both nurses and doctors to support this institution. Now, Chairman, today, Regional Minister is not too lucky. But you know, I have utmost respect for him. He's one of the regional ministers who is openly accessible and available and reach out to many of us. So, part of the celebration of 50 years, we celebrate you. But in celebrating him, I'm reminding him that as for Tamale Teaching Hospital, Nurses Training College Tamale, expansion of health infrastructure generally in Tamale, his government hasn't done well yet. So let me remind him that. I said he can do better. I say he hasn't done well. So there is an opportunity to retain. Because, Minister, truth be told, much of this expanded infrastructure here in Tamale, and that's why I say Minister is not like it, because many of it, I am the example. when I say I'm the example, the expansion of this major facility, just right here, was when I was acting Minister for Health, and cement had gone bankrupt, and they were looking for answers for the expansion of this infrastructure. Then I got the authority of the president then to award it to Kwanzaa to get it done with funds. I'm fitted personally into it. Then the second, then after that, I'll leave the politics and we talk nursing, then I conclude. Then Minister, when I heard nurses talk about conditions of service, except that as for this, I'm at Idem with Minister Sani, regional minister. Allowance for betting is a no. So therefore you are giving us reason why allowances should not be paid, because you will not be paid for betting. I say you are giving us reason. Okay, a few, to be fair to you, a few should not give us reason to want to rethink it. But I was happy when Minister said that allowances have been restored. Was it ever taken off? Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, enough of the politics. So, as I said, Minister, then conditions of service for health workers. Again, record. Now, Chairman, it was during my tenure as Minister for Employment and Labor that for the first time in Ghana's history, I speak without fear of contradiction, that health workers for Ghana got the first codified conditions of service signed as an act with all health workers in Ghana. You can check the facts. I did this with the president of the Ghana Medical Association and others, Dr. Sripwa and co. I'll get the other name. So at least whether this government or my government is able to live up to it, there is a codified conditions of service for all health workers in Ghana, which was under John Dramani Mahama as president. Then, as nurses, we go back to your post-colonial era of 1962. You are hospitals such as Kolebu Hospital, Kepko, Sekendi, Kumasi, Koforidua, with extended medical facilities. Then again, Minister, all of us should celebrate Jerry John Rawlings for changing the nature and character of the medical profession and its associate allies of nursing. By the mere declaration of Jerry John Rawlings of the UDS as a medical school and a teaching hospital, he has served our population well. So those days, and then Minister, I come to the people of Tamale. And then our nurses, you know one other reason why you should be proud. Tamale is one of the most difficult places to work. And today I'll introduce you to the new concept of the people of Tamale don't even know the consequence of bystander on emergency trauma patients. As you are driving from, and I see now, as you are driving from Simone Zakari's home, if an accident happens at Texaco, this is Tamale for you. They will leave the patient and they are all watching him. Look at it. No care, no emergency, no thoughtfulness that the immediate thing is to rise the person for medical care. You all see it. So we need some education as a people Does on that chairman, now son and is all the buy a womb so money. The one like you want, the cana salati behinam. The Zambanama, dash to the young, come to find your buy. The Choma song, Kalera Genda, Kapil Grow, Kalero. And even sometimes, what is surprising is that they are more concerned about the damage to the yellow and the motorbike and the car than the damaged human being. And I'm particularly happy that Chief Director is here. And he has an ear to the Minister of Finance. He knows what I do. The principal of this school have made a strong case for a modern auditorium and a hostel. Chief Director, you can push it and we will support you. And when I say you can push it, I know what a formal letter from you can do. If it is communication to the Ministry of Finance, recommending strongly that a hostel and an auditorium be dedicated to this institution. And sometimes, you know, when you came to Parliament, in my difficult days as minority leader, if we scrutinize your health budget, including your national health insurance, you can find something for this school from that you are capable of doing, and that will be able to support you. So thank you for also honoring this. And then now Sanana once again, today is important and it's been a groundbreaking era. As men and women were being introduced, I hope that some of the senior colleagues here won't take offense. They introduced a gentleman at the back there called Mike. Mike. I hope you won't be offended. Nazanana. But for him and some Abukar Warkwa, who was also one of the first head of the nursing department here, those of you, you know him, a book accompanied my father, Sakamna of the lead Warkwa Alana here, and he was the first person to acquire a degree in nursing. But Mike used to be the most popular nurse in the whole of our area, including Butera. The Mike introduced. So together with his wife, maybe I'm not ashamed to say it, I hear my mother used to quietly call me a shifter party, hospital packet. She was not too sure of the survival, life and death, because I was almost here. So a good example of what you've done in promoting human life and human care. So today, we have every reason to celebrate you, to celebrate our nurses, to celebrate our midwives. But once regional minister is here and he's a representative of the president, and Nasa Nana is here, at every capacity he represents the overlord. I have one other observation, and that observation can only be said by those of us who practice outside. And it is Director Health Services, Northern Region. This is for you. Out there, the whispers are that our doctors do referral to their private clinics using man hours of the public sector for their private jobs. That is unacceptable and that must stop. That is unacceptable and that must stop. That referrals is to their private clinics, and that those man hours, we cherish what they have done, we cherish their sacrifices, but dedicated public service. And now, Chairman, I conclude with it. For you as nurses, I borrow from Nasa Narana, but I add my words. He spoke about discipline. So now, Chairman, discipline and timeliness must guide your journey into the next 50 years. We are proud of your successes. We are proud of your contribution. Today, in many statistics, Ghana stands tall. Infant mortality, whether you go to UNICEF all the statistics of those indices have seen some improvement. Thanks to the nurse, thanks to the doctor, thanks to the midwife. Then I heard and read some anthology of drum from our colleague who spoke on behalf of the alumni. Then principal and to the nurses in Tamale. When our patients arrive here, they deserve to be treated with honor and dignity. It's part of your ethical training. You should be the last to look upon a patient in his vulnerable state and let him despair hopelessly. So when our patients arrive, and now, Chairman, I've been to this hospital a number of times. I should thank those supervising this institution, whether to intensive care, to any other unit, or even to the mortuary. Many of you are at post. But, as I said, many a patient in Tamale deserves and asks for more honor and dignity in your hands as nurses. We couldn't be proud celebrating 50 years of nursing. The gallant men and women at the back of NAR Chairman and Chief Director is a testimony to what this institution and many other health institutions have done. I don't want it to look, NAR Chairman, if I have your permission, so to the colleagues at the back, forgive me what I'll do. I would, for the next 5 years, dedicate an award to the best nursing student in the name of Mike. I don't have his full name, but if I get the full name, Michael Mahama. Michael Mahama of Bilbila. So for the next 5 years, the best nursing student will get an award with a good television set in his name, and I'm sure that as life gets better for me, I may prolong that to the next 10 years if I live to see 10 years. Now, Chairman, on this occasion, and to Principal and my colleague, the Honorable Mutala, let's thank Malik and the entire leadership. So, Minister, now is your praise. Board Chairman, a lot of successes under your watch as Board Chairman of this institution. I commend you most profoundly for your dedicated service to the region and to this particular institution. So all of us have reason today to celebrate. We are proud of you as nurses, and we are proud of your contribution to. I've been asked to speak Dabani, but NAR Chairman is here, and I think that the regional minister has some other assignments. Believe me, I was on my way to Border for the Honorable John Tears funeral when I was asked that NAR Chairman was already seated, so I had to cancel. So the Banle, there's also now only your family, so the Banamana can I yen lady about Chelakan Nambabe Sonia, Chekan Nambazuki is Sony, Chekan Nambazuki, so the now is over.
Wow.